money ain't gon' stack up. Only buying car to get tatted up. All that other bull, it don't matter much. You only climb me, I put the ladders up. No fault, I done doubled up on the workload. I think I fell in love with the bankroll. Pray up, get money, then we lay low. Add it up, bankroll, euro, peso, add it up. I'm just doing me, everything is on me. Oh, you matter what? Add it up, bankroll, euro, peso, add it up. I'm just doing me, everything is on me. Oh, go hard, or go home. 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 Touchdown like the end zone. When the circle turn to my home, can't get me out of my zone. Go hard, or go home. Go hard, or go home. Yeah, these championship rings on my hands now. In my head I'm top 10, yeah, that's hands down. You a squad, now you're looking man down. Funny how foes turn to friends now. Drive a race car like a Atari now. Call filling up, I need product again. Treat the business like a playground, might slide on you. Don't me wrong, might slide on you. Do a backflip, cause I'm mad rich. I'm the definition of what that is. Go hard, or go home. 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 Touchdown like the end zone. When the circle turn to my home, can't get me out of my zone. Go hard, or go home. Go hard, or go home. I'm a warrior, I go back to back, then go back to back. If I top the top, then a double back, and I'm topping that. Yeah, I beat my own records. Yeah, I gotta get money fetish. Same team, I don't set trip. Never dull, this electric. When and put the Ricks on my toes. Me and bro, that's the give and go. Stay 100, end zone. Keep them coming. I know. I won't flood my wrist, no, I'm not dumb like that. No. I just wanna give my mama 100 racks. Go hard, or go home. 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 Touchdown like the end zone. When the circle turn to my home, can't get me out of my zone. Go hard, or go home. Go hard, or go home. Keep them coming. I know.
What up? Welcome back into episode 20. The bottom line. Go hard or go home. Talk a little sports today. Looks like I'm going solo. Canteen, TDY. For those who don't know what TDY is, it means he's traveling with the Army. I believe he's in Fort Bragg. Anybody knows Fort Bragg? Yeah, that's where he's at. And we're just going to run it alone today. But I posted a link on some of you guys who have the we're on the chat for the. If you want to be on that chat, let me know on the link, and I'll put you in the chat. It's basically a Facebook chat for the bottom line, and I just give you updates like when we're gonna go live, stuff like that. So let me turn this off real quick. Turn on my regular music. All right, my regular background music. Here we go. All right, so this is episode 20 of the bottom line. We've been around for about a little over a year, but I appreciate all the newcomers, all those who have joined us over the past year, a little over a year. We started out Les Flow and Canteen Sports Show, and Les is not unable to do it regularly, so it's just me and Canteen, and just the bottom line sports show. We're just talking about sports, have fun with sports, right? 520 members on the Facebook group. Appreciate. Just share this now with whoever. Share this on your while you're watching it with your Facebook people or your YouTube or Twitch or whatever it is. Even I think we're on Twitter, so just share this and hey, give us a hand. Appreciate it. We're on the Facebook group. It's called the Sports, the Bottom Line Sports on Facebook. If you want to join, 520 members. We appreciate all those members. And so we're trying to hit 1,000 by Labor Day. 1,000 by Labor Day. So we're shooting for 600 right now. So let's go. Let's go. Like I said, Canteen, my partner's not here today, but we're going to go solo. We're going to just fight solo today. So to start out here, let me see here. I have let me bring something up here. We want to send out. Let's see here. Let me just share my screen here. Give me just a second. We'll do it this way. All right. So first of all, we want to share our condolences to Ravens. Ravens Nation had a rough week last week. Jalen Ferguson, may rest in peace, passed away last week, and as well as Tony the Goose Saragusa, who's been retired. He's only 55 years old. Saragusa was only 55 years old, and so he had been retired for a while, and we want to send out those condolences to those the families and that kind of thing. And yeah, it's been a rough week for the Baltimore Ravens Nation, Ravens fan. Shout out to him, Jay Glad. Shout out to you guys, all the Ravens Nation. I know they're suffering, but we want to just send our condolences to the family and our thoughts and prayers to the families. Ferguson was only 26 years old. Let me put that picture back up. Hold on real quick. Let me see here. Hold on real quick. Give me just a second. Show the screen here. And put it back up right here. So, oops, it's not sharing the right screen. My bad. Hold on. Here we go. All right. So anyway, we want to send our condolences to those in Ravens Nation. Just a sad week. A lot of football players seem like they've been passing away lately, and just want to send our condolences to them. So, but yeah, Saragusa was only 55 years old. He been retired for a while, and of course, Jalen Ferguson was on the Ravens team, 26 years old. So, just a tough situation for the families and for Ravens Nation. So just want to send that out. But welcome back to the show episode. Got to see my kind of lineup. I was sharing my screen and showing all kinds of stuff. Yeah, flying solo today. So, but yeah, we're just going to move on as far as the show by myself. And if you want to jump on, let me know. I'll on the Facebook group, you can send me a text, a little link, and I'll send you the link to the show. If you want to jump on, you don't have to come on the show live as far as your camera. You can just, come on with your voice on your phone. You don't have to turn your camera on or anything. You can jump on the show. I have that link in the chat, or you send me a chat, on Facebook, the messenger, and I'll send you the link. And jump on the show. So episode 20, here we go. We're going to talk a little NBA. Last week we had the NBA draft. Let me see if I can bring up been having trouble. So let me see here. Oh, let me see here. This one. Okay, so we're going to show this screen here. Right here. We'll do this like that. All right, so that last week we had the NBA draft, and here's kind of the first round there. Paulo Banchero was the number 1 draft pick. Congratulations to him. Chet Holmgren, number 2. Jabari Smith, number 3. Keegan Murray, number 4. Jaden Ivey, number 5. Benedict Mathurin, number 6. Shaden Sharp, number 7. Dyson Daniels, number 8. And then for my Spurs, Jeremy Sochan. And then Johnny Davis running out the top 10. But there's your top 10 guy, your first round, basically. Most people are going to focus on the up here as far as your top 3. These guys right here are your top 3 as far as the top 3 NBA picks. You have Jabari Smith here, Chet Holmgren, and Paulo Banchero. So the question today, if you want to put it in the chat or however you want to do it, the question today is, who's going to be the best out of these 3? Because these are kind of your top 3 that everybody, any one of those three could have gone number one. Maybe not Chet Holgerson as much, just because um, some people think he's a little too thin, that kind of thing. He's got a little more. He's got a little more. People think he's not as NBA ready, so to speak, as the rest. But Holmgren is a 7-footer, 195 pounds. So 7 foot, 195, really thin. But he's got a lot of skill. Paulo Baquero's a 6'10" guy. He's he's not quite 7 foot, but he's a tall guy. But he's 250. He's filled out pretty good. He's got an NBA body. Both of these guys are freshmen. And then Jabari Smith. I'm not sure if he was a freshman. Is he a freshman? Anybody know? I think, what was he? He's a rookie. I don't have his stats here as far as his. But anyway, they're all young players, but you have Jabari Smith, who's also 6'10". So three 6'10" guys. Baquero and Jabari are both power forwards, as Chet Holmgren is more of a center. But he's one of those hybrid centers now that we have these days. That he can he can shoot from the outside, handle the ball a little bit, things like that. A lot of guys like that in the NBA who are kind of hybrid centers, not true center. They have the height kind of, and that's where you would put them as a center, but they're not really centers. And so these are your three. Like, kind of the question is, who do you think is going to be like the rookie of the year? Who's really going to come out and really do well? With out of these three guys here that we see, let us know what you think. I don't know. I'm just thinking, who's going to be the best? These guys right here. These are your top three. If you just joined us, so who's going to be the top out of these three? Because these are kind of three. Or is there another person on the draft board that you see here that you might think might be a surprise, player? I don't know that I don't know. I haven't studied a lot of these other guys. I don't know a lot of them. So I'm not sure who else would jump out at me here in the top first round or the top 30 players there. But these were your top three that everybody was kind of looking at. Baquero, Holmgren, and Smith. And to me, I'm going to give you my opinion. I think everybody says Chet Holmgren. A lot of people are saying Chet Holmgren's got the kind of the biggest upside, right? That he has the biggest as far as, the most potential is what they say. And Jabari Smith, everybody's saying he's the best player out of this group, and can come in and contribute right away. Of course, they say Ben Carroll can do that as well. But a lot of people say Chet has the highest upside. He's so thin. And then he's not having been able to put on weight. He's been trying to put on weight in college and stuff like that. I mean, he's still young. I mean, he was just a freshman last year. But Paulo is definitely, I know a lot more about Paulo. They played my Texas Tech Red Raiders back not too long ago in the NCAA. So I've seen Baquero play quite a bit, excuse me. But yeah, to me, Baquero is going to be, I think he's going to be the guy. He's going to contribute. I think they're all going to contribute right away. I think Baquero, though, is going to contribute quite a bit right away. I think he's going to win Rookie of the Year. A lot of people are saying he's going to win Rookie of the Year, but I think he's going to be, he's going to be a guy that's going to be a perennial all-star. That's what I see him doing. He's got a great outside shot for his size, and he's not a Kevin Durant, 6'10", he's 6'10", but he's filled out. He's a 250. He's a good size and he's going to fill out more. He's going to fill out a little more, as far as when he, when he gets in the NBA and starts, working out and doing all that stuff. But yeah, he's going to fill out. I just think that, I don't know. I think he's going to be your top guy coming out of that. I think that he's going to be the guy that really shines out of these three. Not that these guys won't. I think Chet will probably be pretty good. Jabari was going to be pretty good, but I think Paulo Baquero, I don't know. I've seen him play. I think the one thing about Baquero, he's got to be a little more assertive, assert himself a little more. And, he's a young player. They're all young. And I think that's the one weakness, is that he doesn't assert himself when he needed to. Especially I saw in the NCAA, he was a little tentative at times. he didn't assert himself, his dominance. He was a little more tentative. But yeah, I mean, I think he can get over that. I think part of that could be the college game is more of a team sport. It's not as much one on one as you do in the NBA. It's not as much about your individual talent. It's more about the team, about running the plays, running whatever defenses you're going to run, and so I think Vaccaro's going to be to me. Let me know what you guys think. Yeah, he's going to be the main guy. He's going to be the guy that really shines out of this group of players. I think he's the one that's really gonna, I don't know. He's really gonna be the best player out of this group, is what I think. All right. Let us know what you think as far as that's concerned. Let me see. What do I got here? What is this? Okay. I don't know what that's doing there. Let me grab this. I got some stuff out of order here. Let me see. Let me just cut this out real quick and go to our next topic. So that was it pretty much for the NBA. We just had the NBA draft. We talked a lot about the, everything happening and different things last week as far as the NBA wrapping up a lot of stuff. So another thing going on, the Patriots, kind of they're going to bring back, let's show this. They're going to bring back the old school uniform. This one right here. What do you guys think of this uniform? They're bringing this uniform back. I mean, at first I thought, come on. I mean, they were terrible with that uniform. I mean, they did go to the Super Bowl in that uniform, and I think there was I can't remember what, some law or some rule in the NFL that they couldn't wear these uniforms for some reason. But they're taking away some of those rules, so a lot of teams are going back to these old uniforms like these. They hadn't been around, and they updated a little bit. If you look, kind of the helmets, it's an updated helmet, of course, but the logo is the old school Patriot guy with the football, and this is, I think these stripes are a little updated. I haven't seen the old, and of course this is kind of updated, but it's basically the same uniform. It's got some more modern what do you call it, the lettering and kind of the material, of course, and the helmet, of course, looks newer, and you got but this is pretty much old school here, and this pretty much style here is kind of old school. So what do you guys think about this uniform here? I don't know. I mean, it looks pretty cool. I don't know. To me, I'd hate to go. I mean, like the Cowboys, I'm a Cowboy fan, as you can see over my shoulder here. It's kind of hard for me to say that, because with the Cowboys have never really changed their uniform. The Cowboys have always been the Cowboys. I mean, they have a few they have the kind of that white one they wear, with the white and blue. But usually we're just silver and blue, right? That's just who we are. Excuse me. So, but anyway, I kind of like it. I think it could be good. It could be fun just to see some of those old uniforms. Remember the old Buccaneers uniforms, back in the kind of bright orange. I mean, I didn't really like those. I hope I guess they could bring them back. Maybe update the logo. I don't know. I just didn't like the bright orange ones that they used to wear back in the day. The Bucs were really, really terrible. But you could. I mean, I think if they updated the guy here, that's the original logo. I don't know. Update him just a hair, maybe give him a new face, make him look a little bulkier even than this. Maybe have him, I don't know. I like it. Maybe make the colors, make him a little darker blue. I think they're trying to stick with the original. But, I mean, if you update this guy, maybe, update the stripes a little. I don't know. It's cool, though. It's cool. I mean, I don't know. Let me know if you're a Patriots fan. Maybe you like that updated uniform. I don't know. Let me know. But anyway, yeah, just let us know. Let me know what you think about that. The updated uniform, does it matter? Is it, do you care? So moving on from that, kind of a light topic, but going into a more serious topic. Deshaun Watson, who had 24 lawsuits. We brought this up on the show before. He has all this stuff going on with him. Facing potential suspensions. Apparently, Deshaun Watson, let me see if I can bring it up here on the screen. He settled with 20 of the 24 with the lawsuits, settled with 20 of the suits. Let me see if I can. I'm getting better at this sharing thing, so I'm trying to get better here. All right, so he's sharing. He's had 20 lawsuits, an NFL suspension with these lawsuits. Let me see if I got a different type of screen I can do. That doesn't look good. That's cool. Maybe that's cool. We can do it like that. But anyway, yeah. So he faces still suspension. He settled with 20 out of the 24 for the sexual misconduct. It may not dissuade, this article is talking about it may not dissuade him from a lengthy suspension. What do you guys think? I mean, could this help him potentially as far as, these lawsuits? I mean, if he settles all of them, maybe that'll help him with the suspension. I mean, what do you guys think? Let me know what you think. Is that a possibility? You think that if somehow he settles all of them, let's say there are other 4, he's only got 4 remaining lawsuits against him. There's been a lot of publicity about this ever since last year. He was holding out. He was trying to get out of Houston. Houston apparently helped him, with some of the NDAs, they call them non-disclosure agreements, with some of these massage therapists or whatever you want to call them, and apparently he said he's admitted to sleeping with 3 of them. He said, but it was consensual and all that kind of stuff. So I don't know. It's kind of weird, the situation. I think if he settles all 24, if you're 20, if you're 20 of the ladies, I mean, this is not a funny thing, but I'm saying if you're 20 of these ladies that settle, then the other 4, they end up getting more money, on the settlement. I mean, I'm just saying the 20 should, might be feel up like we should have waited. But if he ends up settling with these 4, it seems like these 4 are going to end up going through. He didn't get charged with anything criminal. There was no criminal charges on him for this stuff. So, it's kind of weird. I mean, he didn't get any criminal charges on him or anything. So it's just one of those things, I don't know. Let me know what you think. I think if he settles all of them, if he somehow was able to settle all 24, I think he would get a less suspension. The way it's looking now, he's gonna most of the season he'll be gone. Probably at least half the season he's gonna be out. More than likely, the NFL has already interviewed him last month for several hours. They interviewed him. They brought him in for an interview and all that kind of stuff. The NFL investigators or whatever, however you want to call it, that are investigating. The NFL does their own investigation because it's violating the conduct rule. I forget what the rule is, but it's in violation of some kind of league rule as far as personal conduct and things like that. I don't remember the name of the rule, but it's some kind of personal conduct rule that he's violated. Ben Roethlisberger got that as well. For when he did when he had his rape allegation, and somebody I can't remember, there was another person as well. But anyway, so let us know what you think. I think it could help him. He's not gonna get out of all the suspensions. He's gonna be suspended, right? I mean, I think we can all agree on that. It's the length. We don't know how long. So, all right. So let me know what you think about that one. So it looks like Rob Gronkowski has in fact retired. So congratulations to Rob Gronkowski, who has retired from the NFL. Yay. So the question is, who now, if he stays retired, I mean, he could potentially come back, right? There's a possibility that he could still come back. And what's the thing? What's the word? And still play this year. I mean, we know that he doesn't. He's tried to get out of training camps and all that before. So, but here is the. Let me look and see if I can. So here is the top tight ends. I'm gonna make this bigger if I can. So is he a top 10 all tight end of all time? I mean, here's kind of your top 10. Most of these are out. I mean, we're talking about not playing still. Travis Kelce probably may end up making this list as well. What's the guy? I can't remember the guy's name from he played for New Orleans for a while. Man, what's his name? Why did it stop sharing? No, show it again. Anyway, let me bring that back up. Sorry. All right, so yeah, why is it not showing? I'm trying to show the tight ends here. Oh, that's why. Maybe it's that. There we go. Okay, here we go. Anyway. All right, so here's your top tight ends of all time. Kind of Dave Casper, some old guys. Mike Ditka, Antonio Gage, Tony Gonzalez. A lot of people would know him. Ron Kramer, older guy. John Mackey, Ozzie Newsome. Many people may know him. Charlie Sanders. Of course, Shannon Sharpe, more modern. Kellen Winslow, Jason Witten, another guy. So out of these guys, let's see, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. These are 12 guys. Does Rob Gronkowski make that 12, that top 12? Is he, or top 10? Sorry, is he your top 10 guy? Is kind of what I'm asking. Is he going to stay retired? I don't know. He may come back, right? But we're assuming that he stays retired. So if he makes your top 10, does he make your top 2 or 3? Does Rob Gronkowski make your top 2 or 3 all time? Tony Gonzalez is kind of the guy who really broke out as far as tight ends, catch and score. Tony Gonzalez has over 15,000 yards and 111 touchdowns. I don't know if that's a record, but he's part of the 2019 Hall of Fame. He ended up making the all-time top 100. Kellen Winslow was another guy. Tight ends kind of, like I said, evolved over the years, right? In the 70s, they didn't catch much in the 70s, and even in the 80s, they started using them a little more. The West Coast office used them a little more, things like that. But for the most part, they didn't use tight ends a whole lot until you got to the 80s. And then in the 90s, that kind of evolved with Tony Gonzalez, Shannon Sharpe, those kind of guys. Kellen Winslow, he was kind of in the transition between the 70s and the 80s where they started using them more, more for catching and doing touchdowns, and sometimes in the red zone, things like that. John Mackey is a kind of a older guy back from the 70s. You have Jason Witten. He's more your modern guy. In the 2000s, him and Tony Romo for the most part. He's got 13,000 yards, 74 touchdowns. He's 11-time Pro Bowler. He was the fastest to reach 600 catches. Things like that. Most think Jason Witten will be a first ballot Hall of Famer as soon as he's eligible. So it depends what era you're looking at. Mike Ditka, you're talking about him. He's back in the 60s. He played for 3 teams: Chicago, Philadelphia, and Dallas. Back in the 60s, early 70s when he played for Dallas. Late 60s, he played for Dallas from 69 to 72. He only has 5,800 yards, but for his era, 5,800 yards is not bad. 43 touchdowns. Of course, he's a Hall of Famer. Mike Ditka made the all top 100 of all time back in 2019. So it depends what era you're talking about. How much value? I mean, you look at Ozzie Newsome. He was late 70s, right up to 1990 really when they started using tight ends more. You would probably basically all through the 80s, late 70s, 78 to 90. But ride the whole 80s, he was in there. He's 7,900 yards, 47 touchdowns. Ozzie Newsome considered probably one of the best of all time, especially when he retired. He was considered one of the best. I think he may have had the record for most yards. I don't know about touchdowns, but yeah, he's in the Hall of Fame. He did not make the top 100, but he was. I mean, a lot of people look at Ozzie Newsome, and then of course Shannon Sharpe. He's more your modern guy, and all these guys, especially receivers, they're gonna be tied to the quarterback. If you don't have a good quarterback, or you don't have a good team altogether. I mean, even beyond that, if you don't have a good team, it's gonna take. You may not go very far. But I say that because Shannon Sharpe, he's a 4-time Pro Bowler. I mean, 8-time Pro Bowler, 4-time first team, but he's got 3 Super Bowls, right? He's got 2 with the Broncos and then 1 with the Ravens, right? Some of that could you can attribute some of that to Shannon Sharpe, right? But I mean, if he's on, the Browns his whole career, does he get a Super Bowl, right? I don't think so. Not the era he played. And so the Super Bowls for me for the tight ends don't mean as much. He did contribute. He does have 10,000 yards, and 62 touchdowns. So in the 90s they started using the tight ends a little more for, uh, for the red zone and that kind of stuff. And so he's got, he's part of the 2011 Hall of Fame. So he's a Hall of Famer, right? Antonio Gates is kind of your more modern guy, kind of like Jason Witten and Tony Gonzalez. Those are your modern era type guys. Gonzalez was kind of your first guy coming out of the late 90s into the 2000s, right? He was kind of the first guy to really be more the modern, what we consider the modern tight end, who can do blocking, but they use him a lot more in the offense, right? A lot more catching. Tony Gonzalez had 15,000 yards, right? 111 touchdowns, right? He's got a long career, 16 years or something like that. So he was a 6-time Pro Bowler, 14-time Pro Bowler, 6-time first team All Pro. So in the era of that late 90s going into the early 2000s, kind of your modern tight ends, kind of your what we consider the modern tight end. Your Shannon Sharps, and Antonio Gates, Tony Gonzalez, and of course Travis Kelce, and then of course Rob Gronkowski falls into that. And so is he your top three? Just all that to say, is Rob Gronkowski, if this is it for him, if he doesn't come back and play again, right? If he doesn't come back and play, let's say he come, a lot of people speculate he might come mid-season, if the Bucks are in contention for the for a playoff run or whatever, that he may come back just to play in the playoffs, or at the end of the season. I could see him trying to do something like that. If Tom Brady calls him, hey, come on, we need you for the playoffs. We need you for this stretch run, right? So I don't know. To me, it's a tough one because I think there's a lot of good tight ends here, right? A lot of good tight ends here listed here. If I had to do my top three, I'd probably Tony Gonzalez would be in there. Man, Kellen Winslow, I think it's pretty considered as your guy. He's kind of I think he transitioned from the 80s, where they, like I said, where they started to transition more of using those tight ends, right? Kellen Winslow was one of the first guys, with that. Started really using them more, right? 67 yards, 45. Yeah. Back in the late, back in the 80s, basically, is when he played. So I would probably go, because it's hard to quantify. Tony Gonzalez has 15,000 yards, and Winslow's only got 67, but it was a different game back then, right? So you factor in a lot of things, blocking, how they use the tight ends, because that's kind of, that position has really evolved over the years, over the decades, really. But I would have to put Kellen Winslow, Tony Gonzalez, and to be honest, Jason Witten's right there with those guys. I may have to put Rob Gronkowski in the top three. Let me know what you think. I may have to put him in the top three, just because he's kind of one of those guys. He had some injury issues, but man, when he was at his peak, he was hard to mess with. Rob Gronkowski was a tough guy to mess with. If you're looking at your top tight ends of all time, Rob Gronkowski, he was a big dude. He's big, 6'6", 6'7", something like that, 260, 70 pounds. He was a load to bring down. No one wanted to tackle the guy. And he also was key in a lot of the blocking schemes. He was one of those guys that really, really did good two things, kind of in the modern era tight ends. He was kind of is the mesh of both of those. Because tight ends were used a lot for blocking, right? And they did catch, from time, like I said, we transitioned from the 70s to the 80s to the 90s to the 2000s. A lot more, catching for the tight ends. And I think that he is that guy that could do both. He could block, set the edge. He was big enough, strong enough, and then he could also catch. He could catch down the field. Kind of one of those first guys, the big guys to catch down. Tony Gonzalez, don't get me wrong, he was a good blocker, but he was more offensive weapon. Where Rob Gronkowski, as far as catching the ball, Rob was a little bit of both. He could do both. He was kind of a hybrid of both, kind of like Shaq. Remember Shaq? I mean, Shaq when at his prime in those 4 or 5 years with the Lakers, when they were making their runs, I mean, Shaq was almost unstoppable. He was so big, he was so athletic and fast, and that's kind of what Rob was. He's Rob Gronkowski. I'd put him in my top three. If I had to really do it now and think about it, I would put him in my top three. I don't know. That's just me, because he had the size, he had some of the speed. Right, he wasn't like lightning quick, but he was pretty quick for his size, and plus he had a big catch radius. He had great hands. He could run over people. It was just he was a beast out there when he was at his prime. He did have I think he broke his forearm 3 or 4 times or something like that. Some weird thing like that. But yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't know. We'll see. I mean, let us know what you think. Let me know what you think. Is Rob Gronkowski in your top three? Right now, I would probably say he is. He's in my top three. I would probably say he is in my top three. I mean, just because of how much he did both things well, blocking, setting the edge, doing all, and then also, even in the short game, even down the field a little bit, just being an offensive weapon and in the red zone and first downs on third down, and then blocking and things like that. So, but anyway, I would definitely put him in my top three. I mean, it'd be close, but I would put him in my top three. Let us know what you think on the bottom line here. Running solo without Canteen. So let's wrap this up a little bit. See what happens here. The Dallas Cowboys, Micah Parsons. He was a dominant rookie last year, earning Defensive Rookie of the Year honors. He was named the first team All-Pro, and after finishing 13 sacks, 84 tackles, and 30 quarterback hits, he was quoted as saying he wants a minimum of 15 sacks this year. 15 sacks this year. What do you think? Is he going to reach that goal? Could he reach that goal? I think, what is the record? I should look it up and see what that is. What is the NFL? If you know it, put it in the chat here. Put it in there. Let me know. What is the record? I think it's like 20 something. Does it? I know. Which is LT had it for a long time. Lawrence Taylor, but record. Type it in here for sacks in the NFL. Let's see what we got here. Reggie White. Single season. All time. Most in a season. Let's see what it says. StatMuse. Anybody use that? StatMuse? Whoa. TJ Watt. 20 and a half. Michael. Okay, so there you go. I'm going to put it on see if I can share the screen here. Let's do this right here. All right, so here we go. So there you go. TJ Watt, 22 and a half sacks is the record. He tied Michael Strahan, 22 and a half. Justin Houston, back in 2014. I mean, that's a guy I mean, some of you might know who he is if you know KC. Jared Allen is a guy I've heard of. Mark Gaston has 22. Surprised Reggie White isn't on there, but he's 21. So, I mean, he's a sack and a half behind, but still. JJ Watt's on there several times. I mean, wow, that's pretty impressive. Lawrence Taylor, of course, 20 and a half. So all these guys in the 20 and a half range, right? I mean, that held for a long time. No one was able to break that. 86, Lawrence Taylor set that record, looks like 20 and a half. And no one even came close until JJ Watt did in 2012. more than 20 years later. And then two years later, he tied his own record. And then 2018, and it seems like, Aaron Donald did that in 2018, right? I'm surprised Aaron Donald hasn't done that more than once, but 20 sacks is quite a bit. And so there's the question. Michael Parsons wants 15 minimum. Can he? I think he can reach that goal. He's got it. He's got kind of that Lawrence Taylor type, body, quickness. DeMarcus Ware had 20, so he came close back in 2008. To breaking Lawrence Taylor's record. So that was a close one. DeMarcus did have a good season that year in 2008. But J.J. Watt's on there 3 times, 20 and a half twice, and then 22 and a half. And I'm surprised that, of course, what's his name? Where is he at? Aaron Donald. I'm surprised he's not in there more often. How long has he been in the league? See all. Since 2014. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 8 seasons. So I'm surprised he hasn't had more. Been in that 20 range. 2018 look, he had a bunch of them. And he's kind of dropped off, 12 and a half there. This could be all about double teams, people paying more attention to him, that kind of stuff. And of course, if he was the only great defensive player on the line, they're going to focus on him. But anyway, yeah, TJ Watt has the record. He's tied with Michael Strahan. He got the record back in 2001, and that record held for 20 years before TJ Watt could break that record. So that once you get up in that, you break the record for sacks. It seems like, man, it lasts for a while. So let us know what you think. Can Micah Parsons get it? I don't know if he can get in this range. I think he can get in maybe in the 18 range. Von Miller reached that a couple of times, or at least once, right? I think he can get in this range here with these guys. The 18, 19 range. 18 I think would be tough, but 15 I think he can get 15. I'm gonna give Micah Parsons a good shot at getting 15 sacks this year, minimum. I think he may even get 16. I think he'll get right in there, 15, 16 sacks. When you get in this echelon here of these guys, you have to get in the 18 and a half to 19 to get in this top 20 of all time seasons. With the sacks. So, yeah. I mean, if Micah Parsons gets anywhere close, like 18, 19, we're going to have a great season. I mean, to be honest, we're going to have a great season if Micah Parsons gets anywhere close to 20 sacks. We're going to have a great season for the Cowboys. But anyway, let us know what you think. Can Aaron Donald do that? Can he make it to that 15 sack goal? And I think he can. I think he's going to get – I see him getting 16, maybe even pushing it to 17, right in there. It'd be hard for me to say he's going to get in close to 20, 18, 19. That'd be a tough, because once people know, they start keying in on you, right? Unless he's got some other guys in that line that, unless DeMarcus Lawrence, D-Law comes in there and starts, breaking, having havoc where they can't key in on either one of those guys. If you have another guy, that usually what helps you, right? If you have a great defensive line where they can't really key in on you. If they double team you, you're leaving another guy who you need to probably put a double team on, or pretty close to needing the double team. So to me, that's the hard part. If you have more than one guy who can really come after the quarterback, right? That's going to be the tough part. For Micah, I don't know if he's got that other guy unless D-Law comes back. Now, D-Law said he was going to come back and really wreak some havoc, that he was going to be the sack leader. Maybe if they'd use it as a friendly competition between him and Micah Parsons, that would be great. If D-Law comes in there and really wreaks some havoc, it'll be tough because, like I said, if D-Law ends up doing well, that could help him get to that 15, 16 region sacks. If D-Law does not come back, and like last year, he was coming off injury, and so he had a little bit of a down season last year, but I think he'll be fully healthy coming into this season. If D-Law is able to really go in there and, maybe get himself 15 sacks, that will help Micah get his 15. Or if D-Law even comes close, getting maybe 12 or 13 or 14 sacks this year, that'll help Micah get his goal because – in essence, they can't really double Michael the whole time because D-Law is getting sacks too. So let us know what you think. Who do you think? Can Micah reach his goal? I think he can. All right, that's it, man. That's all I got for the day. Running solo today with some topics all by myself. That's how it goes sometimes. So we wanted to run out. Excuse me. I want to shout out to my daughter. She's having her first child, our first grandchild. So shout out to us. Well, our first grandchild will be due soon. So I may not make it next week. Maybe out of town as well. So I don't know what's going to happen. Time will tell. But it could happen this week, could happen next week. So I don't know about as far as that. But we may take some time off as far as next weekend. I may be tied up with some things, and we don't know what's going to happen. She's due on the 9th of July, so it's getting close. So you never know, what could happen between now and then. So, but shout out to them, first grandchild, Maverick. So little Mavi, as my wife likes to call him, already gave him a nickname, right? I don't know. Maybe I'll call him Mavi. Mavi sounds cool. What do you guys think? Mavi, his name's going to be Maverick, right? So Mavi, Mav. I kind of like Mav. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. But yeah, so we may take a week off next week. I know Canteen may have to reset. He's out of town. So we'll see what happens. We may or may not be here next week, but I appreciate you sharing, liking, doing all that good stuff. And helping us out. We're trying to get to 600, and then by Labor Day, trying to get to 1,000 on the Facebook group. Let us know what you think. Help us out. Like, share, do all that stuff, comment, all that good stuff for us. We really appreciate it. I'm just here on the bottom line, sharing this stuff. Going solo. When I go solo, if I'm not ready to go solo, that's the hard part. If you're not ready to go solo, it's difficult, right? Because it's just hard because you have it all planned out, to have somebody else here. So, and then you have to kind of do it all on your own. So it's not as easy, right? It's a little more difficult. So, but that's the outro song. We appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for all the Facebook group members. Go over there to YouTube. Find us on YouTube. The Bottom Line Sports over there as well. Give us some subscribers over there. We haven't really focused on YouTube as much, even though we're on YouTube live right now. We're live on Twitter, live on Twitch, all that good stuff. I appreciate the Twitch guy who's been on the show the whole time. Well, shout out to him or her, whoever it is, on Twitch that has watched the whole show. Shout out to that person. They've stayed on there. And hey, appreciate you watching the show. Share, subscribe, come back next week, or maybe in 2 weeks. If we come back, we might be back in a couple of weeks. It'll be me and Canteen trying to put some more guests on. We like having guests. We got a Falcons fan. We got a Ravens fan. We got a Broncos fan. We got a bunch of different people who come on and just talk about their team. So come on and come on the show. But we'll see you next time. This is The Bottom Line. I'm Flo. We'll be signing off now. We'll see you next time on The Bottom Line with Flo and Canteen.